It is that time again, time to talk to a band here on Jay-Z on the Rocks. And today we are talking with the band Limberlost. As you can see, I have five of the six members, that being Tony, Mike, Devin, Steve, and Brittany. The only one not with us today is Sammy. I guess she has to work. So you guys don't have to, I guess. Was that the case? Is that what's going on?
They're playing
Well,
hooky, maybe. I don't
yeah,
know.
define work.
Yeah, is that a thing?
Well, we're working right now because we're going to find out
Yeah.
more about the band Limberlost. And I guess before we get started, and whoever wants to jump in on this question, I'll just put it out there, is I found out about you guys about a year ago. Okay. So I know you guys have been around a lot longer than a year. And I'm assuming all of you have a different history, different past of kind of where you came from. So before we get started with maybe each individual, can somebody tell us how you guys all came together?
I guess I'll take that one. Yeah, the band, I formed the band early, back in like 2011, 12-ish. Started piecing together what became Limberlost. And then we started recording, I think, originals probably in 2016. And then we went through various member changes as the band started to grow and so forth. And I want to say it was late 2018 that both Tony and Brittany joined the band. And then the recent team that we have happened a little over just right about a year ago. We came together under a new project, new sound, new music, and there's ways that all happened that I won't get into, but it was just that's the band you see today is as a team is about 1 year old.
Cool. So let me start with you, Mike. Your background, I guess, when it comes to music and other bands that maybe you played in, maybe some influences. We'll go around the room and start with you, Mike.
Well, I started on the kazoo, and
know. Never moved on.
We all did, right?
yeah. But yeah, no, I just I come from the 80s. I'm an OG. So I started in the late 70s, early 80s, Sunset Strip kind of stuff. Went to college and kind of got the rock and roll bug when I was at college and decided to give up all that pomp and circumstance and go for the rock and roll lifestyle. And then through different things, I played mostly in cover bands, and then took a break, did the career thing, family thing and all that. Came back in 2000, like I said, 2010. I had been working with some worship team stuff down in Southern California. My job relocated me back to the PNW, and so I just started to try and put a band together up there, and it just evolved into what we have. Influences, again, I grew up on Zeppelin and Van Halen and all the 80s butt rock, and that's kind of where I come from. But I do have some older influences too. Mom loved Elvis, and Tommy Dorsey and all that kind of stuff. So, I grew up listening to that kind of style of music too. So that's kind of my hodgepodge of stew there.
Okay. How about you, Tony? How did you come about in this project, and then also your background and influences?
Yeah, sure. Born in a small cabin. I'll skip ahead a little bit. So yeah, back when I played all my entire life from the time I was 12. I was submitting cassette tapes to all the major labels and stuff like I had anything to offer them, but I thought I did. But yeah, came down. I was raised in Alaska. Came down to Seattle and started touring with some bands, mostly cover bands, but. Skipping ahead, I wound up forming a band of my own to play my original music. And about that time was the time that Limberlost was forming also. My band was already kind of had some momentum, at least in the local area, and actually hired Limberlost for what turned out to be their first gig. I didn't know that. But I sat in, I think, a little later in a kind of an unplugged thing at the same venue. And then years later, probably 2 years later, Mike came up to me and basically asked if I wanted to actually join the band, and I kind of hesitated for about a year because I kind of realized I'd have to give up my original project in order to really devote time to Limberlost. And then COVID hit, so yeah, there went my original project because there was nowhere to play. and nobody could travel. So Limberlost used that time to basically start touring in the Midwest. And that's right about kind of my first experience was let's go on the road kind of thing. Um, and yeah, so as far as references or my influences, I'm kind of old school classic rock guy. I really like my first album was Santana Abraxas and Three Dog Night 1, I think. But I also was really into early Jethro Tull, even early Elton John and Zeppelin. And as far as keyboard influences, John Lord, Roley, a lot of those kind of classic rock organ guys were really kind of my thing. That and of course, like I said, I mentioned early Elton John before he got really commercial. I thought was pretty cool. So a lot of acoustic piano from that, and also things like Tom Petty, the organ player for Tom Petty, whose name I could never remember. But Steve is it Steve Naive from Elvis Costello. I thought those piano parts were just epic, and so I hear myself trying to emulate that a lot of times when I'm coming up with keyboard parts. That's
Very cool.
where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, how about Steve? You're hanging out by the pool in Phoenix today. What's your background?
Well, I'm in Orange County today, not Phoenix, but
Oh, yeah. Sorry about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Mike's in Phoenix, right?
yeah.
Yes.
My background, I started in the fourth grade when they put you in the music program. I just wanted to play the drums and be cool playing in a rock band, but I got sucked into playing the violin because my grandpa was in the Harry James Orchestra, and so I kind of got pressure from the family to play the violin, and I was like, well, this sucks. Uh, so I played in the orchestra from fourth grade to ninth grade, and about that time I started looking at like rock magazines like Hit Parader and stuff, and I'm looking through them all, and I'm like, all these cool looking dudes with long hair and bitchin' clothes, and they got girls draped all over them. Not one of them's playing the violin. I gotta grow my hair out and learn how to play the guitar so I could get these chicks. All right. So that's what I did. And then I joined bands, and I did a bunch of well, kind of like Tony. I did a bunch of touring around playing with cover bands and such from Alaska to California. We would just tour up and down the area. And man, I went from that to I joined Metal Church in 2003 and put 23 years in with Metal Church and playing bass. And then along that, I did about a 2.5, 3 year stint with the band Autograph. And now I'm here with Limberlost. So I'm been getting passed around like a party doll. But but I love it. Playing with Limberlost is awesome. The music is amazing, and the people in the band are great. So, and the cool thing about Limberlost is everybody wants to play. So that's kind of a different thing from a lot of the bands. A lot of the guys are like, well, we'll play, a couple weeks out of the year. I'm like, why am I even in this band? Because that's where the money's made. So anyway, I'm happy about that. Happy that the music is killer. And like as far as my influences go, my very first concert was Elvis Presley, and so that was a huge influence on me. And then when I started getting a little older, I discovered Kiss, and then it was all over from there. So kind of a mismatch between Elvis and Kiss, and then later discovered things like Y&T and Whitesnake and Motley Crue and all those guys. So. Uh, that's where I'm at today is a big menagerie of all that shit put together in one long-haired guy. So
I love it. I love it, Steve. Hey, Devin, let's get your background and how you came about in the band Limberlost.
Yeah, so me and my brother, we have another band for like years that we started, and that's really the only other band I've been in. And we've done that for like 15 years, and we're still doing it, but we're not doing a whole lot right now. And I've known Limberlost for years, right? So they needed a guitar player for this new project they were doing, and I heard the music and I was floored by it. I really liked the song, so I called them back. I was like, hell yeah, I learned all the stuff and recorded all the solos and sent them to Mike just to show him that I could play all that stuff. And then that's how I got in the band. But as far as like all my previous time, I pretty much only spent my time in one band. I've been a hired gun for a couple other bands, right? A couple cover bands and some original bands, but and that's fun too. One cover and then one original, but the Limberlost is definitely the original band I'm in now that's done the most stuff, I think, for sure. So I'm sticking around with it. I really enjoy it. And the bands I grew up on were like kind of like a lot of everybody else. Like I grew up on the older rock and stuff. I grew up on like Kiss and Motley Crue and Van Halen and Whitesnake and stuff. And those are the bands that taught me how to play guitar good. But as I got older, I got into newer bands too. I got in like Avenged Sevenfold, 6 a.m., Nothing More, a bunch of other bands that I listen to now that I got some cool licks and tricks from that I incorporate into my own playing as much as I can. So that's how I kind of came about with Limberlost was just kind of a fluke thing. I just knew him for a while and they needed a guy. So I was down to be the guy once I heard the music for sure.
Awesome. And we figured we'd save the best for last, or the front lead singer, because normally they're the ones getting all the attention, right? That's the way it normally works in a band. So
Oh, yeah.
Brittany, what's your story? Tell us about you.
Normally, but that's the cool part about Limberlost is that, we usually have two front singers and that we like to promote everyone, we put all of that out there. But hey, thank you for being sweet. I did not start as the original lead singer of Limberlost. So I found Limberlost in a very A Star is Born kind of story way, where I am really good friends with a really good friend of our band called, his name is Sammy Shafi, and he was doing a show. I want to say it was at the Tiger something in Seattle. I can't remember, but he was doing a show. He invited me on stage and I sang one of his songs, and Mike happened to be in the audience that day. And at that time they were looking for another singer for Limberlost. So that was how that happened pretty much. He approached me and I had heard of them, of course, being friends with Sammy. And so I think, if I remember correctly, Tony and I had our auditions on the same day, or we started just about the same day.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I thought you'd been in the band for a while, but when I first joined the band, none other than Mike, it was a totally different band. And I thought you'd come in before me, but I guess it was about the same time.
Yeah, I think it was like the same day you and I started together. So it was really cool. It was really awesome. And then we toured with that band for a long time. We did a lot of awesome stuff. And then when the transition kind of happened, where we started the Beautiful Scars concept, and we started to move into being more of a national act and wanting to do more traveling around the U.S. and looking outside of the U.S. as well. It was kind of a crossing point for a lot of members, and so we were looking at this band that lost a lot of important people, and where to go. And it made so much sense to continue and to do the Beautiful Scars concept, which was about making beauty out of things that are broken. And so that's, I think, what ended up happening. We as a band ended up living into that and moving forward. But for me personally, I was a musician my whole life. I don't know. I don't remember not being a musician. I started piano very young. I always knew I was going to do music. I got my degree in opera. I used to sing opera in Italy, and it was very like, oh, okay, if you do opera, you can only do opera. It was pretty clear. And I had so much fun when I lived in Italy. I had more fun going to little karaoke bars and playing piano, and just singing random songs, pulling in people from the street, that I just realized that was more of my calling. My calling was to be a stage performer for modern music. And so I found these guys in Seattle, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
How about influences for you as a kid growing up?
That is I'm always so interested by this question because I have a lot of influences from anywhere from Mozart to Linda Ronstadt to Celine Dion to Creed to Evanescence to I don't know, you name it. I went all over the board with music, and I like a lot of it. It's easier for me to say what music I don't like than what music I do, and what music I'm influenced by. So I tend to listen to a lot. And at this point in my life, I prefer bands that I know. So I'm heavily influenced by all of the musicians around me that I personally know.
So I guess a question I have for all of you here is, I just asked each one of you kind of your background, all that. Are you guys immersed enough to know all that information, or did each of you learn something new about each other? I guess sometimes that kind of shows the cohesiveness of a band, I guess, if you know a lot about each other.
I learned violin. I did not know he's a violin boy. I'm gonna utilize
Yeah,
that skill.
I thought he played skin flute.
Skin
But
flute. I knew
anyway,
you were going there. I knew you were going there.
You were hoping, weren't you?
Yeah.
You're like, I
I
can't wait to
think
get him back out on tour.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the background stuff that we know, we learn by doing interviews like this. You know, we generally don't talk about, you know, how we grew up when we
Right.
get together. But yeah, we learn something new every time we get together. You know, I think we know a lot about each other. We've been together for like, well, even the newest people a year now, but others for many years. And there's just a lot, you know, everybody's got a very complicated background. You know, I'm kind of like Brittany in the sense that at least growing up, I didn't really, most of my influences were actually local musicians, people that I knew, because they were older than me, and I thought they were like amazing because they were playing in some dive bar downtown. And when I was 14, I got to play live in these bars. I don't know why I looked like I was 8, but they still never carded me.
Still look like
So
you're 8, Tony.
yeah.
yeah, thank you. Without the beard, yeah, I probably do. But yeah,
Wild.
there's a lot of stuff. I never played violin, and I won't. I'll wait for my memoirs before we talk about the skin flute. But yeah, I did. I was a trombone player, though. Maybe nobody knows that in the band. Yeah.
Trombone.
Kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Right, so if I write a big band kind of a tune.
I was going to say, we've got all sorts of things, trombone, violin. You can add that now to the arsenal of the band here when you
Yeah.
go out on tour.
Glockenspiel. Yeah, you know, I've known, I mean, I look at all I mean, I've known all these folks for a long time. Steve and I probably go back 15 years. You know, Tony and I, like you said, probably since the early days of Limberlost. You know, Devin, I think we shared the stage with Devin when doing a reunion show for one of my cover bands when he was like 14.
Yeah, we did.
You know, so it's, yeah, I mean, yes, to answer your question, there's not much that, you know, I mean, yes, the violin thing, I think that's the first time I've heard that, but you know, most of the other stuff, yeah, we pretty much know each other pretty well, I think.
So let me ask you this question then. What do all you want to do with Limberlost? Where do you want this to go? I mean, you're all at different parts of your career right now. Some of you have been around for a longer time than others. So where are you wanting to have this band go?
World domination, songs on the charts, and a fat bank account.
Yeah.
Not asking for a lot.
I still want to play that nudist colony up the coast a little ways from here. I've never had that opportunity.
Get that one for sure.
For me, it's, and I'll just jump in here. For me, it's just, you know, a little bit bigger every day than we are yesterday. You know, it's just one step at a time. I don't know that there really is a top goal. And also, I think it's pretty clear from just looking at a lot of other bands that when you do get to that upper echelon, it's not what you thought it was going to be. And people start, you know, doing, you know, all kinds of crazy things to their bodies, or I don't know, just, you know, it's not pretty what happens to rock stars a lot of times. And I think that's why they sell this image. And it's really the journey, as they say. It's kind of cliche, but it's the journey to get there. That's really where all the fun and the magic is. Getting there, you get there and it's like, oh, this is what I've been working for. So I'm just happy to be taking, you know, one step at a time, but and making each day better than the last. Top that. There you go.
You know, getting the music out, you know, I'd say, you know, I think we've, you know, this new album that we have, this new song we just released, you know, I don't think we gave up anything from the last album, you know, and it's pretty quick. This one came
Right.
about too, considering the other one's still out there making a lot of noise. But I think just the new style of music and the creativity, you know, I want, you know, I want to keep milking that. And to Tony's point, you know, I don't think success is a destination. I think it's, you know, it's the trip itself, you know. So you know, we just keep reaching for new goals, making new relationships, you know, and yeah, I'd love to get out there and, you know, just be working this thing nonstop full time with a big fat bank account like Steve talks about. And but some of it's, you know, the experience stuff too, you know, being able to look forward on our career and say, hey, there's things we haven't done yet, and also looking back and going, that was pretty cool. So I kind of like being in that space.
Yeah. Anybody else want to answer that question, or should I move on to the next?
Same here, dude. I wanna keep writing keep releasing the good music and stuff, and trying new things, like guitar wise. I want to try different effects. I want to try different styles of soloing. I want to try different styles of playing for rhythm tracks and stuff. I just want to really expand my musician ship and have fun doing it and make money doing it and do it all the time. I don't want to have to have a day job or anything like that. I just want to do guitar full time and just get as good as I possibly can. And the best players are the ones that do it the most. They play the most. So I want to get up there and just get my chops up and be somebody that a lot of people want to endorse and just do that for real, you know?
Mhm.
Yep. You know what helps with all that? A big fat bank account.
Yeah,
Probably
that
not.
kind of goes without saying.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
best if it's best if. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I don't know what you're gonna say.
Oh, I was just gonna say, especially if it's somebody else's big fat bank account.
Yeah, that you have access to.
I was gonna
Notice
say,
nobody said, I don't care where I go as long as I don't have any money. No, that was not in anybody's story.
let's talk.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Brittany.
Nobody ever.
nobody ever. No. For me, I think that it's important to put out songs that can hit people in their core, that have a message to deliver, and that have lyrics that you don't hear anymore. I think that it's missing, and so for me, it's very important to put out those songs that can do that and can hit you like that. But in the long term goal, I would love to see Limberlost touring more. That's my big thing. I want to go more places and play more stages. I want to play with more artists and acts that I love and get to see them in ways I've not, one of the cool things about being in Limberlost is I've gotten to see backstage of bands I loved growing up. It's like, that's amazing. I got to see Third Eye Blind perform their big song. Is that, how cool is that? So, and I get to just be there because I'm part of the show and I'm part of the act. And so I just want to keep going. I want to keep going. There is no such thing. This is a mountain with no top. And so that's how I look at it.
Let me ask you, Brittany. Obviously, you and Sammy are kind of co-vocalists together, back and forth. How is that vibe and how do you guys work together?
Yeah, it's awesome. Actually, what's really cool about Sammy is that she also has her background in opera. So that's how her and I know each other, is that we got our degrees together in opera. And she ended up continuing on and pursuing it past when I decided to quit and go the rock path. And what was so funny, we ended up moving to Seattle on the same day.
Wow.
So we become friends, like, whoa, wait, what? We become friends. And then about maybe 2 years after I joined Limberlost, she joined a metal band. So we had such similar paths in life that when there was the position available, there was like, who else am I going to call? I called her. And so it's been incredibly cool, incredibly kismet. And she also brings a really cool energy to the band because she can do a lot of the scream stuff and a lot of the low stuff and heavier singing. So it's so much fun, actually. I think that a lot of people assume that there's rivalry or that there's competition or competitiveness, and we just don't look at it like that at all. We look at it as like, oh my gosh, now I can take a break from the song and relax, and you've got it, and then we can do all these cool stage moves where we have, like, we walk this way. It's just so much fun. We look at it as fun. So.
Yeah, sounds like fun. And of course, I've never been at a Limberlost show yet, but hopefully I'll get a chance to do that sometime. Let's talk about 2026. And first of all, 2025 was a good year for you. Obviously, Alien is a song I think that really puts you on the map nationwide. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
Talk
we thought
about
we
that.
were bigger before then, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you guys have been around. We get that. But at least for radio stations across America, it looks like that was the song that kind of put you on the map, kind of you guys made the push for, and did very well. It got best video. It was up for a Grammy nomination, I think, or consideration. I mean, there are all sorts of things that happened, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, Alien definitely defined the shift in our sound. So when we put that out there, we put it out with a whole album because it represented the new band and the new material and the new Limberlost. So definitely.
So looking at 2026 here, and you have a new song right now called Give It To Me, and that is the featured song that we have right now here on 94 Rocks, and of course, Jay-Z on the Rocks. Talk about that song and kind of what are the plans here for 2026 for touring, for getting out to do more, pushing more new music, all that stuff. Who wants to take that?
Go for it, Mike.
Mike.
It's your baby, Mike. Take it.
Coming in. Well, Give It to Me is an interesting song because actually we wrote that song and recorded it back in 2023 originally. And it was kind of, I don't want to say it was hastily done, but it was a song that I had started putting together. And right about the time that we had accepted the Yngwie Malmsteen tour in Europe, it was kind of one of those things where it's like, hey, we need some fire over there in Europe. We need to release the song, a song, maybe get it on the radio over there, and get people to come out and see Limberlost. And I mean, obviously people are going to come see Ingve, but it'd be cool to have people there to see us. So we wanted to get on the radio and do some things over there. So we actually wrapped that one up pretty quickly and then released it in Europe, pretty much the UK and then the EU. And we never released it over here in the United States. We whitelisted all the other countries. We just put it right in that. And it's still the original version is still out there on Spotify and on all the platforms, just in those territories. And then, we got back and the changes started to happen, and it never landed in a position where we felt we needed to take it forward here because we weren't sure what the band was going to do. Touring also defines a band too, I think. Wouldn't you agree with that, Steve?
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
find out who you can live with and who you can't.
Yeah. And so we started to realize who were the players that were going to go in the direction that we wanted to go and who weren't and stuff. And they also made their own conclusions in those areas. So it just that the song itself just kind of landed in this nowhere space. And then we release, Beautiful Scars, Alien, the whole album. We've had I think 3 songs off that record went into the SMRs this last year and did really well. All cracked the top 20. I think one got the top 10.
Secondary market radio, SMRs.
SMR, secondary
Yeah,
market
people-
radio.
Yep.
But anyway, then as we were putting this new EP together, which we actually took a couple of the songs out on the road with us this last year, Sugar and Villain, it kind of made sense to revamp it and put it into the sound and the sonic space that we now represent. So that's what you have. And so, and then once we did it, we were like, oh my God, this is so cool. And we kind of shopped it a little bit and got the same results. So that became our kind of kickoff 2026 deal. We have 5 more singles that'll be coming at you through the course of the year, wrapping up into an EP. We also have, we had a new member join us this last year in 2025 through association with Steve and Devin. We met Doc Burt, Robert Doc Burt. He's no relation to me, by the way, but he actually is our front of house guy now, and he's pretty renowned. He's got his big long resume that comes with him, but he's worked with just about everybody and worked every stage in the world pretty much. He has tasked us and challenged us, and we've accepted that this year we're gonna start doing some board recordings, and at a band that's at our level, kind of a climbing band, we're gonna be one of the rare ones that are gonna put out a live album. So that's in the cookie jar for 2026. And then we've just got a bunch of other stuff going on. There's a festival that we just inked that we can't talk about, but they just announced one of the major headliners, and they're pretty big. So we're excited for that. We've got a bunch of other stuff cooking that just doesn't have ink dry on it yet. We're going back to Sturgis this year. We skipped last year because we all went down to the Gulf Coast during that time and played down there. But we'll be back in Sturgis this year for several shows. I think we got a Glen Rock, Wyoming concert in July, I think. So just and we're just, like I said, there's just stuff I can't, the deal. You can't talk about until the ink's on it, so.
Yeah, there's that damn deal. I gotta always, you guys are so good about this. Keep it. I can't ever get anybody to slip up. Why is that? I just don't know why. You guys have played the game way too long, right?
Well, we got good coaches. We're with Paul Crosby from Paul Crosby.
Yes. Great guy.
Yeah, he's super cool, dude. And so we know the game. Steve's been touring for 25 years. I mean, it's we've got some wisdom amongst us, so we know what to say and what not to say.
Hey, I know we got to get going here, but I guess, Mike, I'll have you finish out here. If more people want information about the band Limberlost, are you doing the socials and that? I mean, I know some of you guys are a little bit older, so just saying. I mean, I'm in that age group too that I have a hard time going, which social do I go to? But what's the best way to find out more information in the music about Limberlost?
Well, listen to Jay-Z
94
on
Rocks. Yep, yep.
No, we're all over the socials. We have a Facebook page, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, TikTok, all Limberlost Music. And then YouTube is another, we've got a pretty good YouTube presence. And then of course you can go to our website, which is limberlostmusic.com, and it has all the stuff on there, from our store. You can actually even download our music there and stuff, which is the better way to do it because we don't have to share. Um, but yeah, that's we're like on all the things, and of course all the streaming platforms.
Right.
Give It To Me's out now, and it's on everything. So you can find us just about anywhere you can find music. You'll find Limberlost.
Awesome. Hey, everybody, appreciate your time, taking a few minutes out of your day so we can find out more about the band Limberlost. And I wish you guys all the success in 2026.
Right on.
All
Thank
right,
you.
JZ. Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
Izzy. Appreciate
Once
you.
again, that is Tony, that's Mike, that's Steve, that's Devin, and that is Brittany. Sam's not here today, but she will be on that stage along with the rest of the guys and gals from the band Limberlost.